What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Bucs Latest on the Fan Arch Network. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for Go Bucs fans and Bucs Nation, it's your time. Remember, like and subscribe to Bucs Latest on the Fan Arch Network. So let's go ahead and get into it here with new updates on the Mike Evans situation. In fact, according to ESPN's Jenna Lane, the Buccaneers met with Evans reps Darren Johns and Derek Gilmore during the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis a couple nights ago and have been aggressively in pursuit of re-signing him. Now, this is the first time we've heard reports of the Bucs trying to not only talk to his agents and his camp, but also aggressively re-signing him. The word aggressively has been used a lot on this show, as I thought the Bucs would have to be aggressive not only in re-signing their own free agents and a guy like an Evans and also a Levante David if he still wants to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also, this came out today from Jeremy Fowler of the priorities that Evans would seek being a free agent and why he would choose a team. Now, let's go through some of these qualifications, and I'll tell you why the Bucs still work for Mike Evans and his camp. The first one was a strong quarterback. Second one, Super Bowl potential, a top offensive coordinator, and high volume targets. Now let's go ahead and talk about the quarterback situation, as Mike Evans has talked glowingly about Baker Mayfield in the past. In fact, he had this to say about Baker Mayfield, describing him as a true competitor with high energy who does whatever is necessary to win. Evans has praised Mayfield for being dialed in, making great throws, and being a key reason for his continued success and desire to stay in Tampa. Now, we've heard from Jason Light that Mayfield is a lot like Tom Brady, where players want to play with him. And we all thought, right, with the report that Mike Evans was going to go somewhere else, and yet he re-signed with the Bucs because of what? Possibly Mayfield. Just saying. Mayfield, by the way, just 2 years removed from 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, and then had 26-11, which was a disappointing effort. But make no mistake about it, Mayfield, in my opinion, is still a top quarterback in the league and has a lot to prove this year, a big year. So why wouldn't Mike Evans support Baker Mayfield over a Josh Allen or, of course, a Brock Purdy or even a C.J. Stroud, especially a Stroud? With knowing and having that chemistry, how important is it for a quarterback to have that chemistry with the wide receiver? You just answered your own question. The other qualification would be Super Bowl potential. Now, this is a little bit more trickier. Are the Bucs a Super Bowl contender? It remains to be seen. Last year with all the expectations, but the injury situation definitely didn't work out in their favor as they started out 6-2. But the second half of the year went 2-7 to finish off 8-9. They still have a bad taste in their mouth. To that point, as we talked about them aggressively signing Mike Evans to an extension or re-signing him, they have to get aggressive, and the Bucs can get aggressive because this is the National Football League, which means not for long. As you think 1 year you're not even an NFC South contender, not even going to win the division, and the next year you could be in the Super Bowl. Ask the New England Patriots, as nobody thought after a 4-13 year that they were going to be any good. But then they're in the Super Bowl, and they're also winning the AFC East with what? Changes in free agency, changes in the draft. If you make the right moves, the Seattle Seahawks would also ask you what you were talking about because nobody thought they were going to be in the Super Bowl, and guess what? They were. The league is an emulation. So if you're emulating them, if you're aggressive like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can be when it comes to free agency in the draft, who knows, you can have a 1 year turnaround. So it remains to be seen if the Bucs are a Super Bowl contender. But of course, you got to show Evans. This is what it's all about. For the Bucs to make the right moves, to get aggressive, whether it's making a trade for Max Crosby or going after Trey Hendrickson or going after a veteran pass rusher that will make all the difference in the world. And whomever you draft has to come in right away, transition, and you'll bring that production that you haven't had at those key positions, especially at linebacker. The third qualification, a top offensive coordinator. Well, guess what? I definitely think the Bucs have that in Zach Robinson because once again, 2 years removed from having a top offense in the National Football League with the Atlanta Falcons. It's crazy when you have a healthy quarterback, what happens. On top of that, why would the Bucs get a Robinson in the first place? Maybe this reveals the plan all along because he has an offense like Liam Cohen. That's where the Bucs were top 10, in some cases top 5. That's what they're trying to get back to. Oh, by the way, here's the other qualification. A high volume of targets. It just so happens, and maybe again, Bucs fans, this was the plan in the first place when it came to Mike Evans and getting a Zach Robinson to get back to that Liam Cohen offense. Evans, just 2 years removed from having 74 receptions, over 1,000 receiving yards, and 11 touchdowns, which was tied for the league lead in just 14 games. I get it. They still have Chris Godwin. You have the emergence of Jaylen McMillan and Emeka Egbuka and Tez Johnson. But even more so, Zach Robinson with the experience. And this is the reason why Todd Bowles hired him in the first place, to have that experience factor so Bowles could worry about fixing the defense and coaching the defense up the way they needed to be coached up, and have Zach Robinson, an experienced offensive coordinator, which, by the way, Todd Bowles has never had. Dave Canales was an experienced. Liam Cohen was an experienced. But his best year, just 2 years removed, was in what? The Liam Cohen offense. Consequently, the Bucs hired Zach Robinson. To me, it certainly makes sense, and the Bucs can fulfill all those qualifications. So what do you think, Bucs fans? Go Bucs fans, Bucs Nation. What do you think about these recent reports? And also, do you feel more confident? Have I convinced you here on Bucs Latest on the Fan Arch Network? Now, one of those young emerging wide receivers would, of course, be Jaylen McMillan. Now, Todd Bowles had this to say, according to Buccaneers.com, from the NFL Combine. He says of McMillan, he's a very talented guy, and he's a very passionate guy. I think he fits in great with the receiving room, and he's a workhorse. He comes out to work every day, and I think some of his great football is ahead of him. He also had this to say about Jaylen. I was just happy to see him come back. There was a point in the season where I did not know if he would come back, and then he came back. And then I did not know if he would have the jitters, especially with the neck injury. And I think the first game, he took a vicious hit and kind of fell on his neck, and he got up like nothing happened. And then I was happy after that. Now, of course, going back to the numbers there, McMillan, 178 receiving yards, 12 receptions, of course, suffered a 3 vertebrae fracture in preseason game on August 16th versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. He came back the later part of the season, again, 12 receptions, 178 yards, including week 17 game where he had 7 catches for 114 yards. So the potential is there. I think what the Bucs are looking at when it comes to McMillan is, again, 2 years removed from the second half of the year where he finished up with 37 receptions, 461 yards, and 7 of McMillan's 8 touchdown catches came during a blistering 5-game stretch to end the season. Now, I got a chance to talk to this kid on the sports web just a year ago and asked him what was the difference between the first half of the year and the second half, and this is what he said. I developed a sense of belonging. I felt like when I was stepped onto the field for that second half, I finally felt like I was capable of anything. I put my mind to it. I really believed it. So I just put my mind to it. There you go. That's Jaylen McMillan. That's your future right there, Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans. So it's good to see Todd Bowles talking him up. It was good to have McMillan back from injury. What do you think of the expectations of McMillan? Are you excited about 2026 to see this third-year pro? Put the comments in the box there here on Bucs Latest on the Fan Arch Network. Now let's go ahead and move on to Pro Football Focus. As the question has been raised, do the Bucs pick up the 5th-year option for Kancey? This is what they had to say. Kancey's first 3 seasons in the NFL have been a mixed bag. The former number 19 pick has never graded higher than a 50.0 Pro Football Focus mark, but he's created the 25th most tackles for loss or no gain among defensive tackles at 21. He can absolutely make an impact along the Buccaneers defensive line, especially next to Vita Vea, but it hasn't always looked like it works. A big issue for that has been his ability against the run. Kancey's 28.7 Pro Football Focus run defensive grade since 2023 is the sixth lowest among 179 interior defenders, but his 20 tackles for loss or no gain against the run are 25th. His slashing style of play suits his role as a pass rusher, but Kancey's 9.1 pass rush win rate is 58th among defensive tackles. Almost 75% of Kancey snaps in the NFL have been pass rushing opportunities. That's his wheelhouse, but the results just haven't been as efficient as the Buccaneers would like. Injuries have played a part in his inconsistencies as well. Kancey suited up just 3 times in 2025 and has appeared in just 29 of 51 available regular season games since getting drafted. As the old adage goes, the best ability is availability, and Kancey hasn't proven that he can stay on the field. It'll be hard for the Buccaneers to trust that moving forward. Their prediction is the Bucs decline on the 5th-year option. Certainly possible because Kancey hasn't been able to stay healthy, but make no mistake about it, talking to Kancey just last year, he knows how important it is to stay healthy and on the field. And you could see the difference between the defensive line from earlier part in the year for the majority of the year, and then when Kancey came back the last game versus the Panthers, there was an energy there. You could see, more pass rushing opportunities. He truly is the key for this defensive line. If he can stay healthy, the former first-round pick can definitely make a difference again, especially to whatever the Bucs do in the offseason, whether it's a veteran pass rusher or young pass rusher. From him either going inside or rushing from the outside, he could definitely make some things happen. So could they decline that option? Certainly a possibility. They could also pick it up. But declining it, you see what you got there. If he can't stay healthy, if he's not productive, then you can always move on. Or you don't have to sign a big-time contract. It's not as big as that 5th-year option would present itself. So Bucs fans, go Bucs Nation. What do you think? Should the Bucs pick up that 5th-year option on Kalijah Kancey, or should they let him play it out? Put the comments there in the box here on Bucs Latest on the Fan Arch Network. Let's move on to the last topic of the day, and that would be predictions from Bleacher Report as they broke down who would be the perfect free agent for all 32 teams. And they had a real interesting one here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because we've talked about him before. That would be Odafe Oweh. Bleacher Report says the Bucs have been looking for a young edge rusher to lead the pass rush for a while. Odafe Oweh is a popular pick to re-sign with the Chargers after they traded him during the 2025 season and followed, of course, Jesse Minter back. Or could he follow Jesse Minter back to Baltimore, which is certainly interesting. Again, connect the dots season. Could Oweh go there? He had 7.5 sacks in 12 games while playing for Minter this season. However, Todd Bowles' ability to scheme pass rushers into one-on-one situations shouldn't be taken lightly. It would be a huge get for the Bucs to convince the 27-year-old to head to Tampa. He would be a great fit in Bowles' aggressive defensive system. He'd fill a need they just haven't figured out. Now, this kind of comes down to, what did he do in the first half? What did he do in the second half? When he got a real defensive coordinator and mentor with the Chargers, 7.5 sacks, lots of potential there, still a young player. Are you going to have to pay him a lot? Most likely you're not. It's not going to be in the Trey Hendrickson type of neighborhood. So you could definitely get a player like this. Is it a case where Jason Light kicks the tires and says, you know what, you haven't really gotten an opportunity to start. Maybe we think you're going to show out like Shaq Barrett in 2019 when he had 19.5 sacks. It's certainly a possibility and it's certainly interesting. I still think they go more of the veteran route. But if you do strike out and you're not able to get a Hendrickson or Crosby or somebody of that magnitude, Oweh definitely sounds like a player that the Bucs could consider. So what do you think, Bucs fans? Do you like that prediction from Bleacher Report? Odafe Oweh there from the Chargers Is he the perfect free agent for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2026? Put the comments in the box. Remember, like and subscribe to Bucs Latest on the Fan Arch Network. We'll wrap it up right there. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for Go Bucs fans and Bucs Nation, it's your time. We'll see you next time on Bucs Latest on the Fan Arch Network. And as we always say, to end off this show, Go Bucs.